great conversation with the lead floor sweeper, Shawn Baca, extraordinaire.
Yes.
I'm sure you've got some style with that. So you're just going down and just.
It's like that.
Flare.
What's that show?
Footloose? No.
No, it's
with Tom Cruise, right?
No, it's the one with the guy with the mullet, Joe Dirt.
Joe Dirt.
Where the guy that's in the mafia, where he's mopping, he's all dancing in the hallway.
Got it.
Saves the kids.
Shawn Baca's gonna one up that one day.
You don't want to see the after-hour footage here, just cleaning up.
No. So we know you're not the main floor sweeper here, but you do kind of clean sweep a few things. You got like, you know. I'm not cheesy at all, am I?
No, typically everywhere we go, we clean house. Try to anyway.
I've seen this. You and Derek Rose kind of like to kind of go heads up a little bit.
Yeah, these last ever since UCC came around, we've always been in the podium. So I mean,
yeah. Well, you know,
he's a contender. I'm a contender.
I think it's good though. You guys get along. You're friends. You're not like out.
Yeah, sometimes he likes to ruffle my feathers, I guess you'd say, but I don't let I got a lot of haters, so.
Do you have haters?
I got more haters than Kyle Busch. So we're going to go in. It is a 6.7 Hamilton solid block. We're running diamond pistons. It's got Carrillo rods in it. It's got the factory crankshaft in it. The block has been machined by our machine shop. It's got a deck plate on it with sleeves. It's a full roller engine. We go through and put roller bearings in it and convert the lifter bores from a flat tappet to a roller lifter, to a keyed roller lifter. Balanced, everything's balanced, blueprinted. The head is one of our stage 3 full race port CNC everything head. It's our highest flowing head. It's got dual valve springs. It's got bigger valves in it. The intake plenum's been cut off and a custom ZZ Fab runner has been bolted onto it. The exhaust ports have been opened up. On this engine, we went through and machined our silverback Gorilla girdle in there, which is kind of like a bed plate design. It incorporates instead of using the spacers on our other style of girdles, we actually use a plate that we machine down the caps, drop the plate on, and then drop another girdle on top of that. And it ties everything from the pan rails to the mains to all the way across, all the way around. This one is running the factory oiling pump. We do have a modified housing and a aftermarket filter on there. And as far as power goes, once this is the engine that had the triples on it that made 2,700 horse out at Randy's. We brought it back because it dropped the valve seat out there. We brought it back. We're doing some more testing on it. Obviously put a new head on it. Swapped over to the single turbo kit to go drag racing. And we were testing out our CP3s and our fuel injectors to get some data on it. But when we went down to Vegas, we had some issues with the crank sensor, so we didn't get any data. We came back here, changed the crank sensor, runs like a top. We pulled the injectors and fuel system is going to be coming off of this and going on the big engine prior to going to UCC and all that stuff. So that's where we're at as far as the race setup on shredder.
So you're running 3 CP3s?
Yeah, this one's got 3 pumps. 2 of them are belt driven. In comparison, the changes we made from this engine to the new engine is going to be, we're going to gear driven pumps on the front cover. We're going to a dry sump oiling system. As far as the base engine goes, it is the exact same that I've been running for years. It's the same engine, same parts, same pistons, everything. So the deck plate is a spacer which we put sleeves and all that stuff in through, ties it into the block, and it corrects the rod angle ratio as far as the factory goes. We put a longer rod in there to correct it, which in turn gives us a little more RPM. It's a lot safer on the engine. It doesn't rock the piston over as hard. And also on the other style engines, with the open deck, with the factory coolant jackets and stuff, the deck plate stiffens up the top end of the block. You do take material out of the block when you machine it for sleeves, so it does make the deck a little bit weaker. So therefore, when you put a deck plate on and sleeve it, and the way it's all designed and tied together, it actually is stronger than the factory deck. But with this being a solid block, it's pretty much just a spacer, because this truck was running deck plate setups before. I haven't really changed my setup too much in the past few years, other than just trying to simplify things and get stronger stuff. So other than that, yeah, with the new engine, the dry sump and all that stuff, we're going to be shooting for 4,000 crank horsepower on the engine dyno, which should put us in the 3,000, 3,500 range to the tire, as long as everything hooks up. But chances are it'll blow the tires off, or something in between the engine and the tires.
Now you running a ice box or?
Yeah, on this drag setup, we do change the intercooler out to a dry ice intercooler, which is a lot lighter. Between the setup we run on the triples, we have to run a water to air, water pump, ice box, and all that stuff, pump screaming through it. But with this setup, you just dump some dry ice in there. It's all aluminum piping. We do run a lot less boost. As far as single turbo to triple turbos, this one's running right around 98 pounds with all the nitrous and everything. And with the triples on it, it'll run about 150. We've seen 180 out of it once, but it didn't make any power for some reason. But when it was at 150, it made 2,700 horse, so it was a little weird there. But this one at 98 pounds of boost, as far as dyno goes and stuff like that, track times, it should put us right around 2,300 horse, somewhere around there, 2,200. But yeah,
that's crazy, dude.
yeah. when it did that 2,700 horse to the, when I did the 2,700 horse to the tire, if you factor in the 20% drivetrain loss, that puts it 3,500 horse crank power. But nobody cares about that unless it's on the engine dyno or to the tire on the chassis dyno. So it does still hold the record for a chassis dyno at 2761, I believe.
So what do you? What's behind your engine? Is it a?
As for the drag race setup, we have a factory Dodge transmission, which is built by Randy's Transmissions out in Tooele, Utah. It is, I don't even know what stage to call it, because it's one of his creations that has all the best of his capabilities in it, and it's worked very well for me. That was a transmission that got me into the 8s. It holds the horsepower that we put down on the dyno. It's the same trans that we've ran for a couple seasons now, and he's gone through it. We've changed the converters a couple times, but other than that, every time we tear into it, it looks good. It's taken a lot of abuse, a lot of parking lot launches and dynos and burnouts and converter testing, getting it hot. All the hard parts in it look really, really good considering the weight of the truck.
It is a 4-door long bed, right?
Yes, it's a 4-door long bed. Race weight with me in it weighs 5,300 pounds, which is a lot lighter than we ran in the past. It's we still, I could shave about, I'd say 400 to 500 pounds off of it. But that was just cutting the frame back out, you know, full race. And that's the thing I try to balance with this truck, is to keep it versatile to where it does drag race well, dynos well, and sled pulls well. So I can't cut it up too much, because I have to go back in and restructure it all when we go to sled pull. So try to keep it simple. Still running a factory frame, pretty much factory suspension. It is on coilovers. But as far as everything else goes, you know, we did do the innovative machine brakes, which took a lot of the weight off the axles. The axles themselves are loaded with Yukon parts, Yukon gears, shafts. Yeah, I mean,
So what are you running for ECM on the? This is an 06, right?
yeah, it's got a factory computer, factory harness on it. And that was another thing with the big engine. We have a Motec ECM for it that we have it running on the dyno. We haven't put it in the truck yet. We're still playing around with that. We haven't put it on the big engine to make big power yet. So yeah, everything kind of got put on hold with this Corona. So